Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cast. And by another cast, I mean the same cast. I am actually going to recast this 5v5, since I did figure out how to make it so that we can see all 10 players, including our boy Wotan. Of course, it says Wing Flyer, but no, that is not me. This is actually Wotan here in green. He was the player missing last time. So guys, I didn't realize that with the new 5v5 functionality that's been added in version 9.99, that it would allow us to actually see all 10 players. So I think that's actually pretty cool. I thought typically in these 5v5 casts, there's always going to be a player missing. And I thought that what they meant by the functionality was just that the game wouldn't crash, because the 5v5 games are notorious for crashing. Anyway, the fact that we now can see all 10 players is pretty amazing. I mean, that is just like a huge leap forward in our replayer technology. So I'm very happy about that. Not only will this be the first 5v5 that I ever cast where we get to see all 10 players, but from here on out, hopefully I'll be able to cast lots of 5v5s where we get to see all 10 players. So guys, I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that this functionality is here now. Like I said, Escalation, TA just keeps getting better and better. I'm glad that everyone's working on it, and I do want to bring you this game in its full glory with all 10 players, including Wotan. So I apologize if you've seen this cast already. You can watch it again to see what Wotan does, or if this is your first time seeing it, then maybe you'll be amazed. So I'll go ahead and introduce the players again. Here in brown, we have, let's see, what is it? Major Paradox, also known as Boogie. In dark green, this was, this was FR. Light blue, of course, was Herald. In red, we had Root, of course. And who did we have in yellow? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Anaya Daddy. Here in purple, we have the Fez, of course. In blue, we have Bully. In green, again, we have Wotan, who was missing from the last cast. In pink, we have, let's see, Favela. And finally, in orange, we have Perfect Dark. So it's the same team as last time, but now we can see what Wotan is up to, and that might hopefully make the game a little more interesting. Someone even commented on my video to not even cast the games unless you can see all 10 players. So, guys, I apologize. I have casted 5v5s before that you couldn't see all 10 players, but that's just because the functionality literally did not exist until a couple days ago. I'm not exaggerating. So it's cool that we can do this now. I'm really happy about this. This will be the first game I cast so that you can see all 10 players, and we're gonna keep an eye on Wotan in particular, because we really appreciate Wotan. Without him, there would be no Escalation mods. So I'm doing this for my boy, my boy Wotan, making an ass out of himself already, losing the first con of the game. Nice, Wotan. You want me to cast your game just so you can embarrass yourself in front of 10 million people? No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, we really appreciate Wotan. We appreciate everything he does. I love this mod. I guess I'm the only person really casting it. EXE does cast it occasionally, and we appreciate any time EXE makes casts. I need to invite him on again. I need to get EXE back in here and have some more dual caster action. But yeah, again, I mean, losing a con early on in a 5v5, it's not a huge deal. I'm sure that the game will progress as normal, except now we can see everything that's happening, which is so cool. Just like last time, we have dark green and purple clashing here at the beginning of the game. Good old Fez and of course FR, they are already clashing. So if you guys remember, blue and purple have some amazing teamwork this game, but this time we'll actually get to see how Wotan contributes to that teamwork as well. Here on the left side, we have some javelins and thuds going at it, but I think the light laser tower will be just enough to stop this push from getting any further. And this time we get to see Wotan's push down the middle with Rocco's and Jethro's. So Harold will push that back, I think. But ultimately, still a nice job by Wotan. Wotan, I think, as you can see, losing that con does put him behind. This is why losing a con early on can be so devastating. It does definitely hurt your economy a little bit, and your ability to expand. So he still really hasn't recovered. Losing this con here, he's still got to replace that. And of course, action happening on the right side. AKs versus levelers. And yeah, AKs are strong in these numbers, but levelers are designed to counter them. The anti-swarm riot control tank. It's a very interesting unit in Escalation. Now, kind of a fun fact, in Protea, these are a T2 unit, and the warrior for ARM is also a T2 unit. So, fun fact about these units, the leveler and the warrior they were not in the original game. They weren't even in the expansions. Cave Dog added these units in a unit pack near the end. Like, it was the last patch that they did before the company went under. So these are kind of a special unit. And of course, they weren't really great even when they were added back in 1998 or 9. But of course, in Escalation, they've been buffed quite a bit. So the riot control tank, nothing to scoff at. Let's keep an eye on what Wotan's doing here. A lot of Roccos, but it does look like Harold trying to avoid them. Roccos are very strong at the T1 phase, I mentioned before. A pack of Roccos beats just about anything if you micro them well enough on T1. Fez saying that he wants to tech rush with Bully. Have some teamwork. That would be a wonderful sight, wouldn't it, if we could have the team, if we could have people working together. It looks like Harold maybe caught Wotan a little bit off guard with this quick Panther rush. Of course, in my first cast of this, I sort of predicted that because I said the fact that the Panthers are making... We couldn't see Wotan's base, but I said the fact that the Panthers are making it this deep into the base is a good sign that Wotan wasn't really ready for this. But he has some spiders, and that's a good counter. The spiders will paralyze the Panthers, at least temporarily. This one Panther being a headache for Wotan, getting a lot done. He will finally finish it off with the Maverick, but of course, this was the Panther that became the true disease and gets all the way into Blue's base and kills all kinds of madness. Purple pushing down with a small squad of Reapers, but is it enough? How much can he get done here? It's a nice push. He's got Reapers and Levelers, but quite a few light laser towers here and an MAK. I really like this. Might be enough defense there. We know that we do know that ultimately this push is stopped, but I do think Reapers at a certain point of the game are so dominant. They're they're like the tier 2 riot control tank. They're like the upgraded leveler. So Reapers just chew through T1 so easily. But there's enough light laser towers here, I think, to stop this. But I feel like if Purple just had a couple more of these, he could just get into Brown's base this early on. Brown's saying, great teamwork over here. I think that's sarcastic. He's maybe frustrated that his teammates aren't helping him. But, yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there. Orange trying to push with the new tossers. Nice use of the Vandals and the tossers. But here we have Wotan, who's been building up some spiders and mavericks and hammers, attempting a push down the middle as he upgrades his economy. Wotan's base is pretty sparse right now. I think he's been on the receiving end of a couple raids. Pink with a nice pyro push, and that will move down the middle and take out some bulldogs, just like last time. This feels like deja vu. Lots of flashes moving in the east side, but there are some mavericks, and we do know that mavericks are a great counter to the flash spam. But Wotan has enough mavericks and spiders here to be a potential problem for Harold. Harold needs to watch his commander. He's in a lot of trouble. Let's slow it down here. Here's Harold's commander. He's going to pull out the D-gun. He shoots one, and it will take out a single maverick. Go ahead and look at this. He's still on full health. He's got that one D-gun. Second D-gun. He's using nano blocking very effectively here. He will take out a second and now a third maverick with the D-gun. But these hammers shooting over the hill with that beautiful arc. I think one more maverick there probably would have killed Harold, and that would have been amazing. That would have been an amazing way to take out the strongest player on the southern team. But ultimately, Harold with a good enough micro there and a good enough use of nano blocking and D-gunning that he's able to somehow survive that situation by the skin of his teeth. So nice job there by Harold. Very close. Very nice attempt by Wotan. I think that could have definitely gone differently. So with just one more Maverick, just a little more luck, one or two more shots, Maverick has one of the highest DPS in the game. Probably does have the highest DPS in the game for a T2 ground unit. But for its cost, it has an insanely high DPS. That Maverick, of course, the glass cannon of Escalation. Very strong in the right situations, in the right hands. But it's sad that Harold, man, if Harold had died there, I don't know. The game probably would have just been over. It would have been a 4v5. But very close. Very interesting attempt there. Catching Harold a little bit off guard, I think. But ultimately, a similar situation as last time. These Dominators are going to push back the Bulldogs. And as we know, Pink will be gathering his massive army of Dominators and Mortys. Orange pushing down the west. But nice kiting with the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs can outrange the Mavericks, so Bulldogs don't outrange much, but there are certain things that they can kite pretty well. Bulldogs aren't exactly slow. They're not fast either. They're about medium speed, so there's certain things they can kite. But usually it's everything kiting the Bulldogs. So they don't have the best range in the game, for sure. Pink's use of Dominators in this game, pretty effective. But ultimately, it looks like Wotan upgrading his K-Bot lab to T2. Fez now giving his teammate the go-ahead for a dual-pronged push, and again, making a request not to give the southern team any breathing room. The northern team definitely has better map position. As you can see, they've got more of the map. They're in a more aggressive posture. And orange with a nice defensive line there. Of course, there's none there. Not much to be seen here on the south side either. So Fez, he is anxious to push, and he's asking blue to help him. Wotan, he's got his army just sort of waiting in the wings. Still now building shooters. Harold with a push up the center. Lots of bulldogs here. But I want to try to keep an eye on everything that's happening. It's quite a few Manticore. Manticore are very strong at a certain phase of the game. And they do outrange every T1 unit. But on T2, they do get countered by the Dominator spam pretty well. Manticore, a Escalation exclusive unit. Nice hybrid missile tank, but not quite as strong as Dominators in direct combat. And this composition will force blue and purple to retreat. In quite convincing fashion, I think. Yellow, of course, right to build sumos, but not supporting them super well right now. He's got some AKs. The Sentinel is in a weird angle where it's hard to hit. He will finally get it. But the battle's still raging here on the east side. Bulldogs versus Dominators. The Dominators are simply going to outrange them. And they can kite them for days. I do like the position of this toaster. It's going to make it difficult to come anywhere near Orange's base. And nice use of bulwarks as well. So Orange defensively being very masterful here. Creating a difficult position to break through. Kind of ensuring that he will always be the one on the offensive. Maverick's not really a counter to sumos, but if they can get on top of them, of course, they can kill just about anything. So Wotan, we can now see his chat. He wants to, I think he wants to do a dual-pronged push with pink. Of course, last time I cast this, we couldn't see what Wotan was doing. We could only see pink. Who I guess is Elianos. Now that Wotan... A lot of these people use Smurfs, so I as a caster can't possibly know all the Smurfs everyone uses, so... Sometimes these players are like well-established people. Sometimes they're just nobodies. And in this case, it's looks like pink is probably Elianos, who's a very famous or very well-known escalation player. He's pretty well-rounded overall. So here is the infamous Morty and Dominator push that we witnessed the first time, but this time we'll have to see how Wotan aids and abets his partner here. I would be very interested to see. I mean, pink was just absolutely crushing people. With this composition, it's beautiful. Mortys and Dominators, very effective. The Lugers are firing at Wotan's army, and they're just going to be completely eviscerated before they even make it to the front line there. But look at all of this firepower. Such a joy to watch. As Harold's composition gets smitten into the countryside, battered down, completely crushed by all the dazzling display of carnage and destruction, missiles and cannons and shells. Oh my. We do now see that Wotan also offering some shooter support and some Zeuses in the front line. And man, I am still surprised upon the second time watching this that this did not just kill Harold. What a scary push. But it looks like they ran out of units right at the end. They just needed maybe a few sumos in the front, or even cans. Something to frontline for this. Probably just could have kept going. But now Pink will retreat. And Wotan. It looks like Wotan is retreating. And again, I feel like it was a blunder. So Pink stopped producing K-bots there. And eventually he does transition to T3. But guys, I do want to say, you don't always have to go to T3 in Escalation. Like, I know that's what everyone does. It's the meta. But Pink literally could have just reclaimed these two vehicle plants and gone into a second advanced K-bot lab and just pumped out this composition of Mortys and Dominators. And with Wotan's help, I think they probably just could have killed Harold. So Harold was being greedy. Harold is also, at some point, he moves to T3, but just not really able to defend himself. And of course, I think Red is kind of busy helping Yellow, so Harold is a bit 2v1'd here in the middle. Dark Green is helping. But still, I love this composition. It's just sad to me that there was not more of this. Just keep making this. Just keep plowing your enemy. Overwhelming them with sheer firepower. I mean, that is a terrifying sight to behold. You never want to be on the receiving end of all of this death and destruction. Finally, looks like blue and purple ready to make the second attempt. But brown has so many Dominators. I mean, that is a... it's just a wall of missiles. And on the left side, look at all the shooters. Like I said before, you cannot see the shooter's bullet, but you can see the impact on the chassis. You can see the explosion, the penetration, as these shooters chunk down the Bulldogs from a massive distance away and just sending them home without the courtesy of even a body bag. That is just sheer destruction. Man, look how quickly the shooters take care of those. So Bulldogs are tanky, but shooters are a good counter. Wotan pushing now. He has broken through, but without Pink's support, I think this is going to get cleaned up. Root wanders over with a few sumos, and I think that should be more than enough to end that push. But here is the patented Croc raid. Purple being very sneaky with the newly buffed Crocs. He sends them under the water and now into Brown's base. How much can he get accomplished? He at the very least forced Brown to retreat all the way back here, giving him great position to take the middle there and even start building some defenses and get some extra resources. So, yeah, as you can see, Purple now knocking on the doorstep. Crocs are so fast. I mean, look how quickly these move. I don't know if the move speed was buffed, but it's a very quick unit, and they can move under the water just as fast. So I like that Purple's using these. I think that's it's a great decision. But now he's got the upgraded Goliaths moving out as well in mass numbers. Wotan with his patented army of hammers and shooters and Zeus's and a couple specters to cloak all of this from the radar. Yellow now with more sumos, and that's it's a decent amount, but there's so many defenses here. As I mentioned before, it will be difficult to break through this at any point. He's done a decent job. He's killed most of the defenses over here, but still, orange is holding. And as I mentioned before, I like what Fez is doing this game. Not only does he push brown back, but he secures the territory that he's taken with these high-powered immolators, and those are going to roast everything down, killing most of the pyros, using their own fire against them. The immolator does die, but I think it's just enough to protect Fez's right flank there. Wotan still with this death bowl of units, and it looks like he's going to kill most of Dark Green's shooters with his own shooters and hammers. So that was a scary army of shooters that Dark Green had that is now gone. Nice job by Wotan to take those out. And you can see that the momentum is still in the Eastern team's favor. Excuse me, the Northern team. You can see that they've got the momentum this game, just slowly taking small victories in these engagements. It's not happening quickly, but yeah, here comes the Cormorants going for Red's hidden decoy commander there. So we won't be able to see that, but let's see. Just told, there you go. Oh, that should work. I don't know why that didn't work. I still can't see the commander. Anyway, for some... Oh, wait. Did I not... Yeah, I don't know. It's... Oh, maybe it just keeps getting killed. Either way, Red's commander is under the water here, but it's a decoy. And in the meantime, Purple doing a death push down the east side. The first time I casted this, I was so focused on this decoy commander shenanigans that I failed to see all of these Goliaths pushing down the east side, and it just seems like Brown, he's already been broken. He just doesn't really have enough to stop this. And you can see Root's commander just kind of peeking out of the water there. As Elianos brings down some Cormorants to finish him off, but of course it was all a ruse. It was just a decoy commander. His real commander is back here, perfectly safe. And with that, Fez making this death push down the eastern side with the upgraded Goliaths. And it just feels like the southern team was not ready for that. Dark Green, most of his army had been wiped out by Wotan earlier. Wotan still fighting for the middle, but of course Root has a huge army of triple barrel sumos. But unfortunately, Brown's base in utter ruins already. Retreating with his commander, but like I said last time, Brown's best course of action here would have been to use his commander to try and take out as many Goliaths as he could before he died. Just kind of go out in a blaze of glory, because in reality, guys, losing your entire base and having nothing left but your commander, it does not help your team. So Brown retreats. Boogie does run away, but in the end, it would have been better for him to try to sacrifice himself, kill as many Goliaths as he can, and then give his base to his teammates so that they could have a better chance of coming back and surviving. They would be able to use the resources better. Purple still pushing through. Herald brings Brawlers to try and stop this, but of course the Brawlers, as high of a DPS they have, these Goliaths even more armor. And it's going to take literally forever to kill these. Brown, in the meantime, moving through Dark Green's base and taking scalps along the way. And it just feels like a never-ending wave of Goliaths. So Brown's base has been almost completely obliterated here. The battle in the middle still raging. Root's army is very impressive looking with the Sumos and the Lugers there. But, of course, Wotan with a nice army as well. And finally, Perfect Dark with those two Cerberus ready to move out onto the battlefield. But this is pretty well defended with a Toaster and some Vipers. 3 Immolators there. That's not going to be easy to break, even with T3. It makes me a little sad that Root doesn't do more with this. This composition that he has is beautiful. But ultimately, I guess he is against 3 players. He's got Wotan. He's got Elianos. And he's got Bully. All kind of bearing down on him at the same time. And of course, Herald, he's busy trying to plug the gap on the east side with all of this bleeding happening. Purple sending waves and waves of Crocs and Goliaths. Fez telling Wotan he needs to go to T3. Wotan does not like to be told what to do. These Cerberus are strong, but look at all of the firepower that Red has collected, like Pokemon. Here in the center of the map, even the Cerberus don't stand much of a chance. So I think those will go down. Herald bringing the Brawlers in for good measure. And Purple ready for some bombing run action. Targeting the fusions, but ultimately he's only able to get 1 resource generator for his trouble. I think if he had targeted this fusion, would have at least done a chain reaction of some sort. Wotan pushing down the east side with his buddy Blue. And Wotan finally moving to T3 at the request of his teammates. But as you can see, I mean, Brown's base, it's gone. Brown kind of trying to rebuild, but it's not really that helpful. Purple trying to keep the pressure on, as Fez mentioned before. And Wotan with this decently sized army of shooters, hammers, and the occasional Zeus as well. There is a repulsor there, and then I think at some point someone builds a nuke. Where was that? Where's the nuke at? Could be somewhere down here. I think there's a... Wow, look at all the anti-nukes. That isn't... I mean, Red is... He's not going to get nuked this game. Yeah, that's a tactical nuke. He takes out all of the artillery there, so... Impressively done by Root. Or, I think that was... No, that's Herald's repulsor from last time. Triple Barrel Bulldogs moving in, but look at all of the spiders that Herald has, and it's going to paralyze this army. Being a huge nuisance to deal with. All these spiders. And as impressive as this is, it does seem like the Southern team able to hold this with the repulsor, with the help of the tactical nuke. It does seem like there's enough there. But unfortunately, the eastern side is still completely vulnerable. Let me try this again. No, yeah, for some reason that command's not working. I was hoping I could spawn in a sonar to see what's going on under the water, but no dice there. But yeah, as I said, Fez piling on the pressure, keeping the Southern team from being able to regather their forces. Harold's pretty much made it his full-time job to try and defend dark green and brown. Of course, brown is literally living behind Harold at this point with his commander and a couple constructors. But now the Novas making it into the fray. Of course, Nova, the mobile long-range plasma cannon experimental, and we've seen them win games before. Fez with another croc push down the east side, but it seems like they were ready for this. There's quite a few Mavericks, and Harold bringing in the Brawlers as well to finish this off. So yeah, ultimately the croc push won't achieve too much, but the reality is that Harold is focusing all of his attention on this east side, and because he's having to defend his teammates, he's not really able to stop the pressure being applied from Wotan, Bully, and Elianos. Now, of course, Root has a decently sized army, but it feels like Root is having to defend yellow. So everyone having to defend somebody. And in the end, I think both Harold and Root expressed their frustration that they felt like it was a 2v5 type situation. Of course, we've seen players basically win 1v5s before. I've literally done casts where players have 1v5'd. I think I did one where Lemminkainen 1v5'd. No, maybe it was Harold. Anyways, it's not that uncommon. Some of these players are good enough to do it. But either way, Wotan, it's nice to be able to see what he's doing this time. Does add a little more clarity to the game. Root with some more decoy commanders, but we're wise enough now to know that those aren't real. We're not gonna freak out like last time and think that Root has sent his commander to the front like some kind of madman. But Wotan pushing through the southwest here, but I think there's just too many defenses. Look at all of the sumos. Like at least a dozen. So Wotan will be forced to retreat there. Talos now trying to make its way through there, but being unsuccessful. Fez with yet another attempt with Crocs, but dark green, he is prepared for that one. And the Pounder just rolls off the assembly line, so we'll have to see what this bad boy can do. So guys, if you haven't watched one of my casts before, or if you don't know, the Pounder literally has one weapon, and that is just that it sends a shockwave through the ground. It kills everything around it in a huge radius. It's just meant to be sent in as like a kamikaze fortress and to deal as much damage as it can before it dies, taking out as much of the enemy base and army as humanly possible. And it will even hurt your own units, so the Pounder usually can't be supported that well. You send it in and try to see how much carnage it can inflict. Now, we've seen these win games, right? So in a certain situation, if the enemy team isn't ready for it, Pounder can do a lot of damage. They have so much health. And they even do a decent amount of damage to air as well. It doesn't really make sense, but their shockwaves do hurt planes. And I think the biggest thing this Pounder gets accomplished is that Orange is not paying attention, and the Pounder gets in range of these Novas and absolutely shreds them. You can see the health bar just dropping from this one. So the Pounder just fills the entire screen with shockwaves of doom, and even experimentals take a lot of damage from them. Eliana's bringing Harpies into the fray. But as you can see, even the Harpies are getting hurt by this AoE shockwave of death. The second Nova now falling victim to the Pounder AoE. But here on the right side, it seems like Purple has broken through yet again. A second push of Goliath makes it through, and this Ultra K-Bot assembler, which Fez killed earlier, now in danger of being killed again. I also like that Fez brings air defense. He's not going to just let Herald stop this entire push with brawlers. The Pounder now getting low, and with these two ambushers, I don't think it has much life left in it, but it has achieved quite a bit, especially taking out the Novas. And it will definitely get something accomplished before it dies, but unfortunately, the Ultra K-Bot assembler, which was working on a Gorgon, which is the ARM equivalent to the Pounder, it will go up in smoke at a very inopportune time. It's quite unfortunate for our dark green player. Brown was not able to hold, and now he's definitely been the weakest link. He rebuilds his K-Bot lab there, but at what cost? It seems like he's just building construction bots, and Purple is in the business already. Once again, Herald bringing the Chimeras into the fray. Now it is an all-out push from the northern side. It seems like Wotan has built another Nova. Dark Green has been killed, or he left the game. And with that, it seems like the southern team is collapsing. Wotan pushing down with an unstoppable combination of Lugers, Shooters, and Zeuses. Purple still bringing Goliath into the fray. Root and Herald doing their best to try to survive and push off all of this aggression, but look at all of the pressure. I like that Purple patrolling the skies with Vamps, and of course we have Talos as well. The upgraded Talos that now have a laser on their face. Gotta love that. And I think with the help of Wotan this time, we can see why Herald and Root are collapsing. Of course, Herald gets frustrated because Root could be sending those sumos to the front line, but doesn't. And yeah, Wotan knocking on the door with shooters. It's never a situation you want to be in, especially because Root seems to not be paying attention at all. All of this pressure by Wotan causing havoc. And here on the west side, Pink with these upgraded Talos. And I think that was a decoy, but soon we will see the real commander of yellow. I do like the upgraded Talos. I like this green laser. This is the real commander. That is the real commander, and he is now going to get focused down. Nope, that wasn't real. That was a decoy. But I promise you, the real one is here. There's the real one. will send a D-gun that way, but he misses. He takes that one out. He gets that one too, but I think the last Talos ultimately able to kill yellow. And the push from the north, 29 kills on Wotan's Nova. Root very frustrated that his teammate didn't do anything. There's the nuke that I mentioned earlier. And it will take out absolute army of Goliaths, but just too little too late there. The southern team has already crumbled. Yellow is dead, and dark green is dead, and brown is effectively dead, making it 2v5. So I have to give Herald and Root some credit. They did hold on for a long time, and they played it really well. But their teammates kind of let them down a little bit. Root will leave, but guys, ultimately, I do think the northern team had better teamwork. Being able to see Wotan this game gives you a better impression of how the northern team was. They were attacking as a unit. They were working together. They were playing as a cohesive team. So I think that is ultimately why they won. Even if the even if they were the underdogs and the southern team perhaps could have won had they had better teamwork. But ultimately, I think it's obvious the northern team had better teamwork. Great pushes by Purple, Blue, and Wotan. But I still give Fez MVP. I think that push down the east side early on that ended up killing Brown was the push that that was kind of the beginning of the end for the southern team. So guys, thank you so much for watching. It's awesome that I can now cast games with all 10 players, and you get to see now what everyone is doing. You don't have to use your imagination. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next cast.